Happy holidays from the Morning Touch. I'm Darwin Campbell. The Morning Touch is brought to you by the Chaplaincy for the Homeless and the FSBC in Glendale. Today, I want to read to you another great carol that we sing, and I want to talk a little bit about it and what that means in 2021. This one is about good King Wenceslas. Good King Wenceslas looked out, it says, on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp even, brightly shone, and the moon that night, though the frost was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. Hear the page and stand by me, if thou knowest this telling. Yonder peasant, who is he? Where and what is his dwelling? Sir, he lives a good league hence, underneath the mountain, right against the forest fence, by St. Agnes' fountain. Bring me flesh, bring me wine, bring me pines long hither, that thou and I will see him dine, when we bear them thither. Page and monarch, forth they went together, though the rude winds wild lament, and bitter winter weather. Sire, the night is darker now, and the wind blows stronger. Fails my heart, I know not how. I can go no longer. Mark my footsteps, good my page. Tread thou in them boldly, that thou find the winter's rage, freeze thy blood less coldly. In his master's steps he trod, where the snow lay dented. Heat was in the very sod, which the saint had printed. Therefore, Christian men, be sure, wealth or rank possessing, ye who now will bless the poor, shall you yourselves find blessing. Good King Wenceslas is an old Christmas carol that tells a story of generosity. It's all about generosity, and it centers around a man whose example was that of generosity. And because of his generosity, because of his life and example, it cast a light upon all of us across the centuries about the importance of generosity. Now, in fact, Good King Wenceslas was not even a Christmas carol. It was not even sang in connection or written in connection with Christmas. It was foretold and written a day after Christmas, on December 26th, on the feast of St. Stephen. It was written in 1853 by Reverend John Mason Neal. He wrote that based upon some lyrics from the 10th century. So he took those lyrics and he combined it with some 16th century lore, and he wrote about Good King Wenceslas. Now, Good King Wenceslas was a man who actually lived. He was known as Wenceslas, the Duke of Bohemia. He was known as Vaclav the Good in Czechoslovakia, and he lived from 907 to 28 of 935. So from 907 to 935, this was an actual human being. This was an actual human being who demonstrated light and generosity to his fellow man. So much that King Wenceslas was assassinated. He was actually the Duke of Bohemia, but he was assassinated by his brother. His brother, who was called Wenceslas the Cruel. Wenceslas the Cruel assassinated Good King Wenceslas. But King Wenceslas lives today. His story lives today. His example and his light lives today. Nobody's talking about Wenceslas the Cruel. Nobody's talking about him. We're all singing about Good King Wenceslas because of the example that he left about generosity. So from the 14th century all the way through the 16th century to the 21st century, 2021, we know Good King Wenceslas because we know his number one objective was to share his goodness with others, with the poor, with the less fortunate. He gave us a keynote example of generosity that dates back all the way to the time of Jesus Christ. I love the last verse of that song. Therefore, Christian men, be sure, wealth or rank possessing, no matter where you are in the economic ladder. Ye who now know that bless the poor, you yourselves shall be blessed. My friends, that's what the Bible says. In 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 8 through 11, listen to what Peter writes. Peter writes, finally, my brethren, be all of one mind, having compassion one to another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful and courteous, not rendering evil for evil or railing for railing, but contrary, render blessing, knowing that ye have been called and you have inherited a blessing. We have been blessed. We have inherited a blessing. We are to demonstrate and distribute and share that blessing. But listen to verse 10. Chapter 3 and verse 10 is key. Good King Wenceslas knew this. For he that will love life, see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking guile. Verse 11, let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. Good King Wenceslas is an example of that very thing. He was one who saw the needs of the poor and he reached out to them. He wanted to bring fire and food and warmth in a very cold period of time. Even though it's not a Christmas song, it's a Christian value. Generosity is a Christian value. And what we see in the Duke of Bohemia, King Wenceslas, is the fact that he could see the value of doing what is good, doing what is right, reaching out to those who are less fortunate and poor. Let us do that, Peter says. Let us seek peace. Let us ensue it. At a time when we're focused on peace and goodwill to all men, looking at good King Wenceslas is something for us to look at and to focus on and to model. We need to model the example of King Wenceslas because what he does is he teaches us the value of generosity and he teaches us the blessing of caring about your fellow man and reaching out to the poor and the less fortunate. Be good to one another. Be courteous to one another. Love one another. Seek to do goodwill to all men. Seek out peace. Ensue it. What Peter is telling us in verse 10 is our lives will be good. Our lives will be long. Our lives will be not only refreshed and refreshing, but we will see good days. God will see that you will see good days if you become a King Wenceslas. Not only on Christmas, but each and every day of your life, you look for those opportunities to make a difference. You look and you seek out those opportunities to do good, to be King Wenceslas. Your days will be long. You will see good days if you do this. So I encourage you today on the Morning Touch, go out, fill a need, give to a stranger, go out, spread some good cheer. Go out and be an example of the light of Jesus Christ. Be an example of a believer. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 12. You see, the world will not revive and the world will not awaken from its spiritual sleep. It will not awaken until we as Christians, children of God, become good King Wenceslas. We've got to go out into the way. We've got to go out into the cold. We've got to go out into those dead and dangerous areas. And when we go out in those areas, we've got to reach out and help fill a need and meet the need of those who so diligently need our help. My friends, our faith must be put into action. The Bible says in James, faith without works is dead. Doesn't matter, I believe, or I say I believe, faith without works is dead. We've got to become men and women of action. We've got to become good King Wenceslas. We've got to get out and show the world who Jesus is. We've got to get out and show them what salvation means. We've got to make the sacrifices of good King Wenceslas, not sit there at our window and look across and say, boy, I sure hated for that guy. Not sit there in the warmth of our homes and our lives and just hands off the world. My friends, we need to be out there. We need to be in the streets. We need to be reaching out. We need to be showing the world that we care. We need to be demonstrating what the love of Jesus is and what it's all about. Galatians 6:10 puts it like this. This is the Apostle Peter. Apostle Paul says this: do good unto all men, especially those of the household of faith. We ought to be seeking, like good King Wenceslas, to do good unto all men. It is a demonstration of our faith in God. It is a demonstration of what God can do. It is a demonstration of our ability to show and share the love of Jesus Christ in this world. When Jesus came, he brought goodwill. He brought peace. It is our job today to promote goodwill, to promote peace, and to be good King Wenceslas and do our diligence to show the light of Jesus Christ in a world that's dark and those lost and dying in sin. The Morning Touch is brought to you by the Chapters for the Homeless, FSBC in Glendale. Got a few more days. Let's get to it. Get out there, do something good, awaken the world, and let them know Jesus Christ lives and Jesus Christ came, and that Jesus Christ's salvation is to all mankind. Go out there, be a good example, fill a need. Someone out there needs your help. See you next time on The Morning Touch.